everyone, and welcome in. We are so incredibly glad you are here with us today. Just jumping right in, we are Linda and John, and honestly, we are just thrilled to hang out with you.
Oh, absolutely. A huge, warm welcome to all of you listening to the Learn English at Ease podcast. I mean, we are just so excited to get into today's topic. And hey, if you're new here, do not worry at all. There are 0 grammar tests today, I promise.
Yeah, none at all.
Right. You literally just have to relax, maybe grab a cup of tea, and just listen. Your brain is going to effortlessly absorb all this natural English while we just, chat.
Exactly. It's all about just letting the language wash over you. But before we dive into the details of our incredible journey today, because we are talking about the hidden psychology of everything from your morning coffee to traveling the globe, we do have a super small, friendly favor to ask you.
Oh, yeah, a tiny favor.
Yeah. So if you want to support us and keep improving your English every single week, please hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously, it really helps our channel grow, and it lets us keep making these episodes for you.
It makes a massive difference. It really does. So thank you so much for doing that.
Okay, so let's just jump right into the deep end here. I want to talk about the absolute very first thing we all do, waking up.
Oh, boy. The struggle is real.
Right. I feel like there's this huge cultural obsession right now with waking up at, the peaceful hour of 6 a.m. People act like if you're up at 6, you're just, morally superior or something.
And totally, the whole rise and grind mindset.
Exactly. But then for a huge chunk of normal people, waking up at 7 or even 8 a.m. feels like a literal physical struggle. Why is there such a massive divide there?
Well, I mean, it really comes down to your biology, right?
Yeah.
Your body has this natural sleep-wake cycle. So forcing yourself to wake up at 6 a.m. if you're naturally a night owl, it doesn't actually give you an advantage.
No, it just makes you miserable.
Exactly. It just makes you tired. You're basically cutting your sleep short. I always say waking up is, it's supposed to give you energy, but not if you force it. And by the way, for our learners, when we talk about having energy, we just mean that feeling of being awake and ready to be active, right?
Yeah, that physical drive. Honestly, I always hear this analogy that waking up is like a smartphone with a dead battery.
Right, like you just plug it in and it smoothly recharges.
Yes. But I hate that analogy because a phone with a dead battery, when it needs a charge, meaning it needs power, it just sits there quietly. Waking up is not quiet or smooth. For me, it's more like trying to start a completely frozen, broken engine in the middle of winter.
That is a way more accurate way to look at it. You literally have to force the system to start.
And I chemically force it with coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee is not optional for me. It is absolutely required if I'm going to speak to another human being.
Yeah, but here's the crazy thing about coffee, though. It's totally misunderstood. People think it gives them energy, like pouring actual fuel into a car.
Yeah.
But caffeine doesn't give you energy at all.
Wait, really? Because my shaking hands at 8 a.m. would strongly disagree with you.
I know it feels like energy, but it's actually just deception. Basically, your brain produces this chemical that says, hey, we're tired. And caffeine just sneaks in and blocks that message.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it just temporarily blindfolds your brain. You're still exhausted. Your brain just can't see it for a few hours.
That is slightly terrifying, honestly. We're just walking around masking our exhaustion, which kind of explains our breakfast choices too, right? Going for that quick hit of toast with honey just to get moving versus sitting down for a really healthy bowl of oats and bananas.
Right, the oats give you that long, slow energy.
Exactly. But what I really find fascinating about the morning is the routines we try to build, like trying to get fit, which for our listeners, fit just means being healthy and physically strong.
Yeah, getting fit is a classic morning goal.
Right. So people try to build these habits, and a habit is just something you do regularly without even thinking about it, like morning stretching to feel alive or getting on a treadmill at the gym, which, by the way, running on a treadmill is so funny to me. You're running for miles and going absolutely nowhere.
Just staring at a wall.
Literally. But okay, I have a bone to pick with a very specific modern health habit.
Oh, no. What is it?
The giant water bottles. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I absolutely do.
People are carrying these massive, heavy plastic jugs of water everywhere. The goal is to drink like 8 glasses of water a day. But I have to ask, is carrying a 5-pound weight everywhere really the secret to building a good habit? Or is it just a heavy burden?
Well, okay, it looks ridiculous, sure, but psychologically, it actually makes sense.
Really?
Because
Okay.
human beings are inherently lazy. We want things to be easy. If you have to get up, walk to the kitchen, find a clean glass, and pour water every single time you're thirsty, that's a lot of friction.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Right. But if the giant water bottle is literally in your hand all day, the friction is gone. You just drink without even thinking. So as a habit building tool, it actually works.
Wow. Okay, I see the logic there. Hacking your own laziness. I love it.
Uh-huh.
But hey, once we're caffeinated and hydrated, we have to transition into our daily responsibilities, the workday. And man, the modern workplace is just this wild mix of stress and technology.
Oh, absolutely. It's a psychological roller coaster. You have these incredible highs, like the joy you get when you're genuinely helping people or learning something totally new.
Yeah, that flow state is amazing.
But then you have the absolute dread of the 2-hour-long meeting.
Ah, yes. Sitting there, looking at your colleagues, which, by the way, guys, a colleague is just someone you work with, and you're just staring at them thinking, this meeting could have been a short email.
Exactly. And the reason it's so draining is because you're sitting there pretending to be super interested while your brain is secretly panicking about an upcoming deadline. You know, a deadline is the exact time or date a project has to be finished.
Right. And usually the person enforcing that deadline is your manager, the boss of your team, which actually brings up a really interesting emotional dynamic in jobs. The whole idea of leaving a job.
Oh, this is huge.
Right. Because there is a massive difference between resigning from a job and being fired.
Completely different universes, psychologically.
Exactly. And just to be super clear for our learners, resigning means you choose to leave. You say, I'm done, I'm quitting. But being fired means the company tells you that you have to leave. The result is the same. You don't work there anymore. But emotionally, night and day.
Because it's all about control. When you resign, even if it's a terrible job, you are making the choice. You have the power. When you're fired, that power is completely taken away from you. It's just a huge shock to your system.
It really is. And I feel like that loss of control really mirrors how we interact with technology at work, too. Like, we spend, what, 4 to 5 hours a day on these small computers in our pocket?
At least 5 hours, yeah.
And we use every single app on there. An app is just a little software program on your phone. We use apps for everything, right? Banking, ordering food, checking the weather, except actually calling people.
Who calls anyone anymore? It's terrifying.
I know, but the main thing we do is scroll. You know, when you just move your thumb up and down the screen to see more content, to scroll, and we do it endlessly.
The endless scroll. And we do it because tech companies actually designed it to mimic a slot machine in a casino.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah. When you refresh your feed, you don't know if you're going to see something boring or something hilarious. That unpredictability gives your brain a huge spike of dopamine. You're literally addicted to the anticipation.
That is so crazy. And it's so true because we will sit there scrolling, hypnotized for 2 hours straight. But the second our phone says, hey, I need to update my software, a process that takes maybe 5 minutes, what do? We instantly hit remind me later.
Every single time.
We just can't tolerate a 5-minute break from the screen. Now, I know the common narrative here is that smartphones isolate us and ruin our brains. But I actually kind of want to push back on that.
Oh, how so?
I just think it's too simplistic to say tech is evil. Yes, the distraction is real, but technology also connects us globally. I mean, you can talk to someone across the world instantly. My personal mantra for this is Use technology, don't let technology use you.
I love that. Use technology, don't let it use you.
That's good.
It's really about intentionality. Are you using the phone to connect with a friend, or are you just letting the algorithm feed you junk to escape your stress?
Exactly. And speaking of escaping stress, eventually we all have to log off and unwind. We have to go home. And the environment we live in makes a huge difference in how we recover.
Oh, 100%. It's the whole city versus country debate.
Right. Like living in a dense city apartment is so convenient. You can walk to the grocery store, the cafes, but you have a landlord, the person who owns the building, and you have to pay rent every month to live there. And of course, you're always dealing with noisy neighbors, the people living right next door.
The noisy neighbors are the worst part of apartment living.
They really are. But then you contrast that with a quiet country house. You have space. Maybe you even have a garden where you can grow vegetables from seed to plate.
Which is incredibly restorative for your brain, by the way. Being around nature, away from traffic and noise, it literally replenishes your focus.
And you can fill that house with whatever cozy furniture you want. You know, your sofas, tables, beds. It becomes a sanctuary. And inside that sanctuary, we dive into our hobbies. For a lot of people, just cooking dinner is a form of therapy.
Oh, I totally agree. Making a simple Italian pasta or spending hours boiling broth for a hot bowl of Japanese ramen. It's magical.
It is, because it forces you to be in the moment. You can't worry about an email if you're trying not to burn the garlic.
Exactly. It's a really creative process. You're making something new. And for many, it's a true passion, a really strong love for an activity.
Yeah, and people have so many cool, relaxing passions. Some people collect things, like keeping a group of items together as a hobby, like stamps or vintage cameras. Some play online chess with strangers across the globe. Or photography, just walking around noticing light and shadows.
It's all about finding something relaxing, something that helps your body release tension.
Right. But here's the thing I find hilarious about human nature. We want to relax, right? To escape our stressful, deadline-driven lives.
Yeah.
So what do? We sit on our comfortable sofa and we turn on a documentary about the intense, back-breaking labor of ancient Rome, or the people who built the pyramids in Egypt.
That's so true.
Or we read a thriller fiction novel about a detective chasing a serial killer. We call it a page-turner, which is a great idiom, by the way. A page-turner is just a book that is so exciting you literally cannot stop turning the pages.
Oh, I love a good page-turner.
But isn't it ironic? We relax by simulating trauma. Why do we do that?
It's actually a brilliant psychological trick. It's the difference between bad stress and good stress. Bad stress is worrying about your rent or your boss. Good stress is watching a thriller. You get the fast heartbeat and the excitement, but your brain knows you're completely safe on your sofa.
So it's a controlled release of tension. That makes perfect sense. But, sometimes our hobbies and our cozy living rooms just aren't enough. We need a bigger escape, which brings us to traveling the world.
Yes. Seeking out new horizons and cultures.
Exactly, like going to Japan and experiencing just how incredibly clean and perfectly organized everything is.
Or contrasting that with somewhere totally different like Morocco. You go there and walk through the souks, which are these vibrant, colorful, traditional markets, and you smell the amazing spices and you eat a slow-cooked tagine stew.
Oh, that sounds incredible right now. But before you can enjoy any of that, you have to deal with the absolute nightmare of the airport, and specifically, packing.
Oh, the packing delusion.
The delusion is so real. Because every single time I tell myself, I'm going to pack light, I only need a few things, and then magically I end up at the airport dragging 2 massive, heavy pieces of luggage. You know, those big suitcases you travel with.
I do the exact same thing.
And I've got my passport, my official travel document, and my visa, the stamp that lets me into the country, all ready. I've booked my accommodation, the hotel I'm sleeping in, and I have my whole itinerary, the plan for my trip. But why am I carrying 5 jackets for a beach vacation?
Because packing isn't actually about clothes. It's about anxiety. You are leaving your safe home, So your brain tries to control the unknown by packing for every impossible disaster. What if there's a blizzard? What if I spill coffee on 3 different shirts?
Oh my gosh, that is exactly what my brain does. The heavy suitcase is just physical anxiety. That makes me feel so much better, honestly.
Yeah, you're just trying to control the uncontrollable, which is kind of like how we deal with the weather, right?
Oh, totally. The weather dictates so much of our mood, like the seasons. Think about autumn. It has that cozy, earthy smell that everyone loves. It makes you want to drink tea and read a book.
But then winter hits.
Ugh, yes. It gets completely dark by 4 p.m., which is just so depressing. I mean, it's great for drinking hot chocolate inside, but the darkness is rough.
And then the pendulum swings to summer, and suddenly it's 35 degrees Celsius outside.
Right. And it's not just the heat, it's when it gets humid. And for our listeners, humid weather is when there's a ton of water vapor in the air.
Yeah, and that humidity makes everything feel incredibly sticky.
Sticky. Yes, you step outside and you instantly feel like you need a shower. Your sweat can't evaporate, so you're just trapped in this hot, heavy air. It's awful.
It really is. Or when it's cloudy with a sky full of gray clouds, or foggy, where that thick cloud is literally resting on the ground so you can't even see the street.
Which is exactly why we are so obsessed with the forecast. The forecast is just the prediction of what the weather will be like. And I just find it so funny how we rely on these complex scientific predictions of the atmosphere just to decide, hey, do I need to grab an umbrella today?
And half the time, the forecast is wrong anyway.
Literally. But dealing with unpredictable weather or navigating a new city abroad brings us to our last big topic, everyday conversation.
The art of talking to people.
Yes, because whether you are ordering food or talking to a coworker, you need the right tools to sound polite and natural. It's so important in English.
Absolutely. The way you phrase things can completely change a situation.
Let's use a restaurant as an example. If you want something, in some languages you might directly translate it to, give me the pasta. But if you say, give me in English, it sounds super rude and aggressive.
Yeah, you never want to say that to a waiter. It sounds like a command from a king or something.
Exactly. Instead, you have to soften it. You say, I'd like the pasta, please, or I'll have the chicken, or even make it a question. Could I have some water? It just sounds so much friendlier.
It's all about respect. And conversation has all these little fillers and transitions, too.
Oh, English is full of fillers. Like, if someone asks you a hard question, it's kind of rude to just say, I don't know. It shuts the door on them.
Right. So instead you say, I'm not sure, but, and then you guess. Or if the answer is complicated, you say, well, it depends. Because life is complicated.
It depends is the best phrase. And we use words like actually when we want to correct someone nicely or share surprising info. And by the way, when we want to totally change the topic.
But you know, the most important cultural aspect of English conversation is how we handle disagreement.
Oh, 100%. Because you can't just look at someone and say, no, you're wrong.
Right. That is way too harsh in English. People will think you're attacking them personally.
So we have this incredible essential phrase for polite disagreement. You say, I see your point, but.
It's brilliant. I see your point, but.
It's the ultimate secret weapon. Or if you think they are totally right, you say, I totally agree. But seriously, mastering I see your point, but is the only way to survive endless work meetings.
It validates them first. It says, I hear you, I respect you, but here is my idea.
Exactly. And it is literally the only way to talk to a noisy neighbor without starting a war. You just knock on the door and say, hey, I see your point about loving electronic dance music at 2 a.m, but I really need to sleep.
Basically, it keeps things calm.
Well, I mean, we have covered so much ground today. From the absolute friction of our morning alarm clocks to politely serving our noisy neighbors.
We really have. And to everyone listening, we just want to give you a huge congratulations.
Yes, absolutely.
By tuning in and hanging out with us, you've absorbed so much real, natural English today. Remember, improving a language happens little by little. You're doing amazing.
Little by little, that is the key. So before we let you go, Jump down into the comments below and answer one of these questions for us. What is your morning routine like? Or what is your absolute favorite food? Or even just tell us what was the most useful phrase you learned in today's chat. We read all of them.
Yes, we love reading your comments. And make sure to check out our next episode. Keep learning with us.
But just to leave you with a final provocative thought to mull over, think about this. We just talked about how language shapes our interactions, right?
Right.
Do you think that forcing yourself to use polite phrases like, I see your point, but actually rewires your mindset? Like, does learning to speak politely actually make you a more patient and empathetic person in real life? It's something to think about the next time you find yourself getting annoyed.
Ooh, I love that. Does the language you speak change who you are? That is a fantastic thought to end on.
Thanks for hanging out with us today, everyone. Take care of yourselves out there, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye, everyone. See you soon.